It's not like, snake could eat, shed, and have bowel movements. That's a fucking happy
I've
snake.
never had a problematic spider. They've always just thrived. They've always been great.
All right. So the next step up then, right? Because obviously as years gone down, stuff became more available. So what was that first recessive gene, or what was the first big gene, like, that was kind of like putting you to the level of producing like the heat,
Yeah. Pied, definitely my first recessive.
Nice.
Probably within my first year, I bought a pied female from Corey Woods. So it was my first recessive.
Another
Yeah.
OG.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
And then pretty much just rode the pied train for a while. Still, it's like pretty much most of my collection right now is pied.
And so Pieds is, who did I talk to about this? I can't remember. I think I do remember. I think it was Will, but like, Pied was something where it was really like high value at one point, like just like a single gene Pied, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what area, like at what time, where was Pied at when you started like really investing and working with Pied? Like what was a single Pied going for? Do you remember? Like, do you remember like around what?
It wasn't bad. I paid $1,500 for my female, and that was 11 years ago. So it wasn't bad at all, I don't think.
Okay, so it wasn't really ever really too crazy, because I could have sworn Pied was also that gene that was like $30,000 at one point or something like that.
Oh right? Yeah, I'm sure at one point back in early 2000s or something. I'm sure.
Right. Okay. So right now, you just said Pied is probably one of the biggest things that you have going on in your projects. What are the combinations? Like, what are your favorite combinations going with Pied right now? Like, what are some of your like most anticipated projects that you maybe you've already had this year that you maybe want to share, or something that you maybe have coming up?
So, incomplete dominant wise, definitely blackhead. That's probably my favorite gene just to go with a Pied, and I'm working on implementing that into Desert Ghost and Monarch as well. So the holy grail would be something like a blackhead Desert Ghost Monarch Pied. Maybe throw some Hurricane in there.
Damn.
Yeah.
That is very powerful stuff.
Trying.
Okay. So, at what point, Nicole, did you make an actual business out of this? Like, was it right off like the bat in 2012, or like, did you kind of wait a couple years down the road before you actually established like the actual Canadian Regis brand?
So I pretty much did it right away.
Cool.
I think 2011, I think, is when I started my Facebook page, Canadian Regis, got my website up, and I just pretty much went all in.
Cool. And then, so social media, when did you start your social media account?
I'm pretty sure 2011.
Okay. And that was Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And then you jumped on Instagram as soon as it started getting going, right?
No, actually, I was kind of late to the party. It took Khalil, actually. I was at a show, and he came up. He's like, "Why aren't you on Instagram?" I'm like, I don't want to deal with all that. So he like took my phone out of my hand. He's like, "Here, let me do this." And he did my first post for me, and ever since I've just been on it. So shout out to him.
Did he really create the account, or was the account already created and you just didn't post anything?
You know what? I don't remember. He probably just went and did it all and did my first post for me.
Khalil's a real one. That's why I love him.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's awesome.
Damn. What a sick ass homie. Okay, that's tight. Right? I have a super chat question. If you don't mind, if we could just answer that real quick.
Go for it.
So I think you might have maybe covered this, but we'll ask Agent's question. But what is your most exciting clutch that you've had already? Like, what is something you've already produced that is something you're the most proud of, I guess you could say?
Well, exciting because of what happened, not so much what I produced. Cool. I bought a leopard Desert Ghost female off of Justin a few years ago, and she ended up proving double head Hypo Pied. And when I proved her Pied, it was probably the most excited I've ever been hatching something out, because Desert Ghost Pied is my top project. So now I have a proven breeder leopard Desert Ghost double head Hypo Pied in my racks now, and that's awesome.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was happy.
Yeah, that's probably has to be like one of the most like best wild card about this hobby that you could endure, is like having something prove out that you just had no idea it had. But give or take, like that's the beauty of buying something from like Justin or Billy or like somebody who's been working with stuff forever. Like I have an inchy clown that ended up having yellow belly in it. It came from Justin.
Oh, nice.
And I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? You gotta be kidding me. Like this thing has yellow belly. And it like literally, it just upped all my holdbacks that this snake's already done for me. Like that means like I went back and looked at most of the holdbacks that I'm pretty sure I have yellow belly in it now. I mean, I won't know for sure until you know, but I'm like pretty confident about it,
That's awesome. Yeah, love it. Love it when these surprises pop up. It never gets old.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about now. I know you talked about Marcus and Jane kind of like, helped you out there in the beginning, but like, when you were like coming up and whatnot and getting involved in breeding, were you attending any shows in your area? Like, were you actually linking up with breeders or doing anything like that?
I'd go to shows as just a visitor. I didn't start vending until maybe 2016, I want to say, somewhere around there. I don't vend often. I'm 4 hours away from Toronto, so to pack everybody up, drive, and do it all, and it's a lot.
It is.
Hopefully, in the future, I'll do it a bit more.
I'm terrified of doing it, just because of the risk of traveling, packing.
That too, yeah.
I'm just like, I'm a klutz, you know what I mean? Like, and the fact that I'm a stoner, I do kind of like forget small steps. Like, I'm the worst. Like, I'll be ready for like, if I have a plane flight the next day, like the way I do things, I kind of do things last minute. But like, let's say something were to come up and I'm in a rush, I'll forget something 110%. You know what I mean? And things could happen where you could get in a rush all the time. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Like I could definitely like, looking past all the risk and like the stress, I have actually been behind a vendor booth, all set up, hanging out, seeing people come by, and it's sick. I like it.
It's fun. It's the best.
I really do enjoy it. And I do know if I had my wife hanging out where like I wouldn't have to be stuck at the table 24/7, and I could at least like, because I have ADD, so like I can't just be at the same spot all the time, like I get FOMO just by not being at a different table at a certain time. Like I just how I get. But like I work with like Mike, all I produce is ball pythons, and nothing against that. I love it, but like if I ever get to the point and I am producing ball pythons, green tree pythons, all this other shit that I'm working with, I would love to display it on a table, like just to have it. You know what I mean? Because if it's one thing why I was very against, like, I would never go sell at an event. I would not want to go sell my animals at a show, just because, I don't know, like I like to wear, I know it's going to be impossible someday. And this is only my second year technically breeding, but the way I've been selling animals, I could still be in contact with most of the people I sell animals to. And I like that. Like I like kind of being in touch, but I know once I get to the capacity of 20, 30, 40, 50 clutches, that's going to be damn near impossible to do. You know what I mean? So I just like right now I'm still a little too attached to my productions, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's fair.
For me to give it to some hillbilly at a show and watch it walk away. You know what I mean? No offense to all the hillbillies out there, but anyway, so yeah, I mean, like I said, I talked to Justin Kabelka, even Ozzy before about this, and like the reason why they go to a show is just to show off their shit. You know what I mean? And just to market everything and just kind of like, just show appreciation, of all the work they've been doing to the people who want to come see it and stuff like that. So if I ever get to that point where people really want to see my stuff, I would vend, it would not be somewhere like Tinley or like somewhere like fucking across the country. Like it would have to be a local show. And to be honest, Nicole, the local shows here just don't slap the same as they slap in Arlington and fucking Tinley. Have you been to any Tinleys or anything like that yet?
No, I was going to, but then COVID happened, and here we are.
I don't want to get political, but do you get your shots? Like, do you have all that done, or what? Or
no,
you don't?
I don't. No.
Do you plan on doing that?
We'll see. It depends on how restricted things get.
The only reason why I be asking you Canadians that is because I want you guys to come here.
I know.
We need you guys to. We need more of the like Canadian heat at these shows. And guess what? I'm going to a Canada show for sure. I'm tapping into Canada for sure next year. So you can best believe I'll meet you either way at some point, but it would be cool. Like I could tell you, nothing gets me more excited when I see fucking Will and Khalil pull up with their group of fucking Canadian homies, like fucking Foster and Chris and Christian and dude, the guy, you guys are just so deep. Canada's so deep with heat. I love it.
Yeah, we are.
But okay, let me ask you this. So coming up in the game. Thank you for watching this week's Trap Talk clip. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment. And if you're looking for exclusive, non-release content here on YouTube, you're going to want to go down to the link and join the Trap Talk Patreon family. Once you become a part of the Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord, and then you also get tapped into all unreleased content. Thank you so much for all the love and support, and I'll catch you guys here next week. Cheers!